Hey, welcome to an episode of the Decoding Cross-Border Ecommerce podcast. My name is Clint Reid. I'm the founder and CEO at Zonos, and I'm here with Aaron Bezzant, my co-host.
How are we doing, Clint?
And you are? Hey, what do you...
You said I'm Aaron Bezzant, your co-host.
Okay. And you work here?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I do. Head of our supply chain group, so work a lot with posts around the world, which is what brings us to this conversation today.
All right. So really quick before we dive into too much, generally, Aaron, what do we want to get out? What are we hoping that some Canadians can get out of the this conversation today?
I think the main thing is understanding why things are suddenly changing for them for their shipments going to the U.S. and how Zonos is helping and how why we're involved and kind of some of the information around that because
and how we're connected to Canada Post. That's
exactly.
Probably it. Because there's a pretty deep connection there in order to ship to the U.S. and we'll kind of explain why. And what are your options now that, things have changed? So, Aaron, what happened? Today is August 29th. Today is the de minimis day. What is going on?
30 days ago, feels like an eternity ago with everything going on, but it's extremely short timeline. But 30 days ago, an executive order came out in the U.S. that effectively mandated that all duties are collected at origin, which would be in Canada before the shipments can come into the U.S.
For postal.
Mm-hmm. Just for the postal stream.
Yep.
Correct. So
what does that practically mean? Let's say first for a Canadian business and then for an individual at the retail counter for Canada Post.
Yeah. So for a Canadian business, Canada Post is working with Zonos to help facilitate the collection and the remittance of these duties to CBP. So Zonos is sitting on the side with CBP, which is U.S. Customs and Border Protection. We'll be remitting the duties to them, and we're helping Canada Post to collect, and we will be the collection agent for that. So if you're a business, you've got an account with Canada Post, you'll be able to just sign up with an account with us, which will enable your shipments to keep coming to the U.S., and then you'll get invoiced for all the duties for your shipments coming to the U.S.
So you would have gotten an email from Canada Post stating, in order to keep shipping to the U.S., you need to log into Zonos and create an account. Once you get into an account with us, then you can put a payment method on file. And now we call it you're a verified account. And a verified account has a connection. Your shipper account number, business account number with Canada Post is now connected to the Zonos account. So when you're processing a label, that label will succeed as long as that connection is active and you are in you have an active payment method on file. If there's ever any disruption in that, then the label could possibly fail if you're not paying your duties or if you don't have a payment method on file. So if you're trying to process a label and things aren't working, there might be a problem in your connection. You'll want to log into the dashboard. So that's just and I want to stay on the business side. We'll get to the consumer side or the retail side in a minute. That's just the billing relationship piece. So now, once you know you're going to get billed, how in the world do you collect, right? So I want to start with, the smaller businesses and then maybe get to the larger ones and how we can help. So we obviously can't jump on, first off, this is really important. There is no subscription fee to get access to our dashboard. And yet we're going to give you the same tools that we give a lot of people that have the subscription fee. You're going to get free duty and tax quotes, free HS code classifications. So some tools for shipping it to the US.
Yeah, and I think that's really important to note because up to this point, Canadian businesses have been able to, for e-commerce anyways, direct-to-consumer e-commerce, low-value shipments under $800, which is the majority of what businesses are shipping to US consumers. It's been able to come in duty-free. It's been very much like a domestic transaction in many ways. And now all of a sudden, overnight, in the matter of 30 days, things have changed drastically to where duty is going to be assessed on every shipment coming to the U.S. And if you're shipping postal, you have to collect. So now, this is where these free tools are really helpful to understand what those additional costs are that you've never had to deal with before.
So I'm in the free tool right now. So you're going to see on the left-hand side, when you log into the dashboard, classify. And if you put in a Chinese-made good, just put country of origin China. You could put Canada as well. But let's put the description as a cotton hoodie or something like that. Okay. And what you're going to get back is two quotes, and this is really important. And this is why there is actually a big benefit for shipping with Canada Post. This cotton hoodie has actually 4 tariffs associated with it coming into the United States. So China has a general rate of 16.5%. They have a Section 301 tariff of 7.5%. And then you have the Trump, what we call the IEEPA tariffs. Can you explain what those are really quick?
These are your reciprocal tariffs.
Yeah.
Is a word that's kind of been floating around in the media this year. These are the newer tariffs for security reasons. And what are those?
Those are 20% from the February 25th tariff and 10% from April. So all in, I mean, I'm doing the math, we're around 50%. Now, so the total, first off, $54, right, is the total tariffs on a $100 hoodie. So that's 54%. That was easy math. Now, Postal, $30 in duties. There is a $24 difference, a 24% difference in tariffs. Why?
When this executive order came out, the calculations for the postal stream for duties are different. They only apply those IEEPA tariffs, those new reciprocal tariffs that are this year. You don't get the standard tariffs that were already in place beforehand. It's just these new ones. So, and it depends on the country of origin. Obviously, China's one that has a lot more tariffs. You have big savings when it comes to those countries of origin for good. And what I mean by that is goods that are manufactured in China. And so, there's some advantages to shipping postal.
Those tariffs, you're going to get that benefit if you ship with Canada Post. Now, what our recommendation is, and now let's go to the kind of the small and medium-sized businesses, because first off, we've been in business for 16 years. And what we've been doing is collecting tariffs from the Americans and making sure that those tariffs are getting paid to Canada and to every other country. We've had such a high de minimis. So the Americans are very used to having to collect duties and pay them to Canada. And so that's kind of our world. We understand now, it's like, this is difficult. How do I figure this out in my checkout? So we're going to go through 2 scenarios. We're going to go through the cost-effective scenario, right? Like it is a lot of work and effort to get it into your checkout for us. So there's going to be some cost if you ever wanted to work with us directly on that. You don't need to. You could just take the price that we're putting in here and raise the hoodie by $30. That's it, right? We just gave you the new price point for your hoodie. And then when you ship it, we will invoice you for the additional 30, right? And there's postal clearance fees too with the shipments into the US, so you might want to factor those into the costs. But anyways, you'll get those tariffs back, mark it up. If you're a larger business and you look for us and you're on Shopify, so I'm talking we're getting this question a lot. You're on Shopify, that costs money, that app, right? That is effort for our team to onboard you. We would love to find, and we do want to find more cost-effective ways for it to work with Canada Post on the Shopify app. We don't have that right now. And so, but if you're a business that's doing, 100 plus shipments a month into the US, you might want to talk to us about the app, right? You just need to determine if it makes sense. You can go look at the pricing on the Shopify App Store if it makes sense for you as a Canadian business. But otherwise, just know it does not cost a monthly amount to work with Zonos and Canada Post. Canada Post, because of the agreement they made with us, we are giving everyone this classification tool for free. And if you need API access, you can get access to the API, and you could put it in your checkout if you can program it in. But then we don't have the onboarding effort there, and it's available into the US, by the way. This is the US. If you want tariffs going other places, let us know. Like, there's other things we can do. But I think that kind of summarizes. Anything else on the business side before we talk about the retail counter in Canada?
No, I don't think so. I think the moral of the story is we acted very fast. Canada Post acted very fast in helping you to keep your postal shipments moving to the US, which honestly has been a Herculean effort on both parts, which has been a pleasure and a great experience working with them to make this happen. Yeah. We're super excited about it. And we wanted to make sure everyone has the tools they need to be able to do business effectively to the US.
There was an insane deadline to get this done. Completely crazy. 30 days. Canada Post, just so everybody knows, they were working all weekend, all day. And so was our team to try to make sure that you were still shipping it to the United States. And kudos to them because they worked their tails off to make sure that it happened. And guess what? A lot of other countries are not shipping to the US today, but Canada is. All right, retail counter. So a totally different problem at the retail counter. It's very difficult to calculate duties. It's difficult to how much is these headphones worth that I'm sending to somebody, So what you'll notice at the retail counter is you will need to download the Zonos app. And that app allows you to simply take a picture of the item that you're shipping or items. So if you have multiple items, you can take the picture of those. And this can work in some of their web tools and things like this too. And it will give you a calculated duties. It might give you a suggested country of origin, but it's up to you to decide what the final country of origin is. And it needs to be accurate. That country of origin is very important. And then after you pay those duties, you can just pay them right on the phone, right? So you'll create an account, you pay for those duties. It's going to give you a declaration ID. At this point, your card is authorized. It is not charged. If you don't complete the transaction with the tracking number, like actually, process the shipment, then you won't be charged for the duties. That'll end up falling off in that authorization. But it's going to give you this ID. You go to the postal counter. They're going to take the ID, put it into the system, and it'll link things up. And now we would have taken the duties from you. We'll give them to Customs and Border Protection. And this helped Canada Post not have to build out an entire billing system for the retail counter and for businesses in a 30-day time frame, which was already a very, very difficult time frame to hit. So that's kind of the relationship between us and Canada Post. Any other thoughts that you think are important for Canadians to know? I have a few thoughts, but if you have any more.
Well, you said there at the end.
I know, because okay, I'll go with mine.
Go with your thoughts. Go.
If you're a larger business and you have some questions, reach out to us and our sales team. You can give us a call. We have a AI agent that should be able to answer most of the questions that you have, honestly, about a lot of the scenarios and costs and things like that. And then we're going to do our best. This is definitely a big change for everybody. And so far, I think it's gone off. It's gone fairly well without a lot of problems. And we're here to support you. And I think Canada Post is there to support you. I know they are. And we're looking forward to being able to help Canadians still ship into the US with Canada Post.